When it comes to truly being able to live off of passive income, in my opinion, there's no better option than being able to live off of dividends. While it's true that there's other options out there for passive income, such as owning real estate properties, selling your own book, or starting a blog, there's really nothing out there that requires so little work to maintain than being able to live off of dividend distributions from your investment portfolio. If you buy rental property with the goal of earning income from renters, you still need to worry about building maintenance, finding tenants, and evicting people when needed. With a blog, you have to spend years building an audience that wants to keep returning to your blog on a regular basis. Or say with licensing your own music, you still have to create songs that people not only want to hear, but want to pay money for. But with dividend investing, you automatically receive dividends directly into your brokerage or your bank account every single month or quarter. It's the absolute easiest way to earn a living without having to raise a finger, with the exception of maybe checking your portfolio once every couple months. Other than that, I feel like it's the absolute true way of making passive income. Even if you couldn't fully rely on dividends for a living, that extra money you'll receive could be the difference between working a job you hate and switching careers to a job you actually enjoy. Or it could be the difference between working full-time and working part-time and spending the rest of your free time with family or friends or doing whatever you want to do. But the biggest roadblock to being able to live off of dividends is the amount of money you'll need to have invested. Just a quick search on YouTube on this topic will bring up tons of videos saying that you need at least $1 million saved up in order for it to be possible to retire early. And if you go on various financial websites and business websites, their recommendations are even worse. According to this article on Business Insider, if you want to retire by the age of 35 and earn $65,000 a year, you need a minimum of $3.3 million saved up in your stock portfolio. Or if you don't think you'll make it that far, you only need $2.8 million saved up by the time you're 45. Even to retire at age 65, they claim that if you want to live off stocks until you're 90, you need $1.6 million saved up for a yearly income of $65,000. Another article in the Globe and Mail states that if you want to earn $50,000 a year in dividends, you'll need to save up roughly $1.33 million. Or if you want $40,000 a year, you'll only need $1 million. But let's be honest, if you're say 40 years old and you happen to have nearly $1 million saved up to put into dividend stocks, how far do you think $40,000 a year is going to get you when you're 85? After reading all of these articles and watching all of these YouTube videos, most people get really discouraged as it seems like only the super rich can truly retire early in life. But today I'd like to point out to everyone that there is a way that significantly more people can achieve the goal of living off of dividends without needing to invest $1 million or waiting decades until you're 65. We're going to take a look at several different types of investments and figure out how much money we really need in order to live off of dividends. For this example, we're going to assume that you want to live off of $4,000 a month, which may or may not actually be quite a lot depending on your life circumstances. If you got 4 kids and live in Los Angeles, you're obviously going to need a lot more than this. But if you live in rural Tennessee and can commit to a frugal lifestyle, you can actually get by with a lot less than this every month. Let's first take a look at some really popular dividend growth investments, which is what these videos and articles all use when analyzing when you can retire off of dividends. We'll use what's probably one of the most popular dividend stocks out there, which is Johnson & Johnson, ticker symbol JNJ. According to Seeking Alpha, Johnson & Johnson trades for $172.93 per share. It currently yields 2.45% and it pays a quarterly dividend of $1.06 per share. If we want $4,000 a month or $12,000 a quarter, we'll need to take $12,000 and divide that by $1.06. Which gives us 11,320. This is the number of shares we need to own of J&J in order to make $4,000 a month. If we buy 11,320 shares at $172.93 per share, we would need to spend $1,957,567.60 in order to live off of dividends today. Almost no one watching this, I'd assume, has this much money, or even would be able to save up this much money in one person's lifetime. And I know what you're all thinking. If you follow the dividend growth strategy of consistently investing, eventually you will be able to live off of your investment of J&J. And the truth is, you won't have to invest literally $1.95 million. You just need to keep investing a good amount every single month, wait 20 or 30 plus years for it to appreciate, and eventually you will have a nice nest egg to live off of. While that's totally fine, there's a couple downsides to this way of investing. First off, and probably the worst part, is waiting. Assuming that a stock will be able to increase its dividend every year for decades, because Johnson & Johnson only yields 2.45%, you'll have to wait a really long time in order to have enough shares to live off of dividends. During that time, I've seen a lot of people simply give up because they lose the motivation because it is a very long process. It usually takes the majority of your working life to achieve this. Don't get me wrong, this method of investing isn't bad. If you stay the course and start young enough, eventually you will have a very nice chunk of money. But in terms of being able to retire early and live off of dividends, this isn't such a great strategy for just the sheer amount of time and investment that it takes. So if it's going to take a significantly long amount of time to save up enough money in Johnson & Johnson type stocks, the next logical step would be to consider investing in higher yielding type investments. Let's take a look at another really popular stock, which is Realty Income, ticker symbol O. This company is a real estate investment trust, which is a business that owns income-producing real estate and is required by law to pass 90% of their earnings back to shareholders in the form of dividends. It currently yields 3.95%, which is better than most consumer staple stocks like Coca-Cola or Procter & Gamble. What else is good is that it pays a monthly dividend instead of a quarterly dividend. As of right now, Realty Income pays 23.55 cents per share per month, which will help in our calculation. According to their website, Realty Income has increased their dividend for 95 consecutive quarters, which is why Realty Income is often considered one of the safest REITs out there. Again, in order to earn $4,000 every month, we'll take $4,000 and divide it by 0.2355, which is the current monthly dividend. When we do that, we can see that we need to own 16,985 shares of Realty Income in order to make $4,000 a month from it. 16,985 multiplied by $71.55 gives us $1,215,276.75. This is obviously still a lot of money. It's not as bad as Johnson & Johnson's $1.95 million, but this is still unattainable for most people in their lives. Or at least very quickly. Even with monthly dividends that'll allow for faster compounding, it'll still take most people a long time to hold enough shares of Realty Income to live off of. So now let's look at a different stock, and we'll up the ante by pursuing a company that's offering a really high dividend yield. Altria, ticker symbol MO, is an American company that manufactures and sells cigarettes, tobacco, vape products, as well as alcohol. Right now, it currently offers a massive dividend yield of 7.27%. It pays quarterly, and as of the making of this video, it pays 90 cents per share. In order to make $4,000 a month or $12,000 per quarter, you'll need to own about 13,334 shares of Altria. At its current share price of $49.53, you would need to spend a total of $660,433.02 in order to make $4,000 a month from it. Now, this amount is significantly more achievable for more people. If you were to stay dedicated and keep investing in this stock and commit to reinvesting those dividends, many people could achieve $4,000 a month in passive income at some point in their lives as long as they start early enough. But we need to ask a very obvious question here, and that is it really a good idea to invest so much money and rely on just one stock for our livelihood? And the answer is obviously not. I would never recommend investing $500,000 into just one company and depending on one company alone for your living. Income investors need to diversify their investment portfolios to ensure that one of their holdings doesn't slash the dividend too dramatically. If Altria were to cut their dividend at any time in the future, it could seriously impact your dividend income and thus your livelihood. This exact same thing happened not too long ago with AT&T. So it makes sense to invest in several different companies, but the issue is that there just aren't too many company stocks out there with dividend yields close to Altria's. Some business development companies and master limited partnerships offer high yields, but these kind of investments are much riskier in nature. So the question becomes, what exactly can people invest in that offer exceptionally high and oftentimes still growing dividends? What I believe makes for a good investment for people looking to live off dividends sooner, that offer excellent dividend yields, increasing distributions, and monthly dividends, are what's known as covered call ETFs. These are a relatively newer kind of investment that haven't been around for too long, but they are growing significantly in popularity. If you're not familiar with options, it can be a little difficult to understand, but they use a covered call investment strategy where the fund buys a basket of stocks and then also sells call options that correspond to that basket of stocks. These options are sold every month, and the option premiums are passed on to investors in the form of dividends. And what we get as investors are really high dividend yields. The most popular covered call ETF out there is QYLD, which currently boasts an 11.80% dividend yield. There's two other covered call ETFs out there that are really popular. One is JEPI, which uses covered calls as well as holds equity-linked notes for stability. Then there's also NUSI, which uses covered calls and protective puts, which means that it helps stop the fund from dropping significantly during a bad market. As you can see, JEPI and NUSI both offer lower dividend yields than QYLD, but in exchange these two have much better long-term price appreciation. As you can see, QYLD in terms of its share price has performed the lowest out of the three, but again, QYLD does offer a higher dividend yield. This graph shows what a $10,000 investment into QYLD 5 years ago today would leave you with. This fund actually performed better than Johnson & Johnson for the last 5 years when dividends were reinvested. So now let's figure out how much money we'll need to invest in order to make $4,000 a year. We'll use NUSI first. If we divide $4,000 by this fund's last monthly dividend, which was 18.65 cents, we'll get 21,447 shares. If we multiply that by $28.73, we get $616,172.31, which is better than Altria, but remember, this is in a diversified ETF and not in just one company. Finally, let's use QYLD. $4,000 divided by its last dividend, which was for 18.79 cents, we get 21,287 shares. If we multiply this by its current share price, which is $23.03, we see that in order to live off of $4,000 a month in dividends, we need $490,239.61. And remember, you don't actually have to invest this full amount. If you reinvest those dividends every month and let the snowball effect take place, you'll actually need to invest a lot less than this depending on how long you wait. If you can survive off $2,000 a month, maybe you have Social Security or a retirement account or maybe some other form of passive income going on, you would only need $245,119.81. This now sounds a lot more achievable than Johnson & Johnson type stocks now, doesn't it? If you ask me, investing in covered call ETFs along with other stocks and living off the dividends is a lot more feasible than writing a best-selling book or making a ton of money from selling stock photos or jewelry on Etsy. Again, even if you can't achieve being able to completely live off of dividends, being able to earn an extra $1,000 or $2,000 every month can definitely pay for a lot of things in your life. I hope this video showed you that it is in fact possible to live off of dividends a lot earlier in your life. These covered call ETFs have been a real game changer for people who want high dividends every single month. If you want more information, check out the subreddit QYLD Gang, which is a community of thousands of investors who are putting their money into these ETFs for earlier financial freedom. It is slightly riskier than investing in consumer staples and it will result in higher taxes, but if you ask me, the benefits are well worth it. As long as you can keep your portfolio diversified, you can achieve living off of dividends. But whether or not you decide to pursue dividend investing for growth or for income, the most important thing you need to do is simply get started. The sooner you start investing in dividend stocks or ETFs, the closer you'll be to having a nice nest egg you can rely on. Alright everyone, that's going to wrap up today's video. Thank you all so much for watching, I really do appreciate it. If this video benefited you in any sort of way, please click the like button below and click subscribe if you want to see more dividend investing strategy videos. It would just let me know that there's a sizable enough audience out there who wants this kind of content, and I'll continue to provide you all with that content. Alright everyone, thanks again for watching and I'll catch you next time. Take care.